Hi everyone. Today we will be covering chapter 9 of The Big Thirst, and this chapter is called It's Water, of course it's free. Um, so in this chapter, Fishman exposes us to the economic problems of water, all of the economic issues related to water. Really, how much water costs. And a lot of us might think our water bills are high, but in actuality, they're pretty low compared to our cell phone bill or other services such as our gas bill or electric bill. Fishman gives us a lot of examples of the cost of water and how low it is on pages 265 and 266. One really great example that I related to was on the bottom of page 266. Fishman says in the, let's say, the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth paragraph down, the last sentence, and he says, forget flushing the toilet. In Traverse City, you can fill a swimming pool for less than the price of a bottle of wine or Merlot. I mean, isn't that amazing? Is that we spend more on alcoholic beverages or probably sugary drinks than we do on our water bill each month. And I think that that's pretty amazing for what we get. So when we think about this in terms of cost, remember, water actually costs nothing. We don't pay a dime for actually water. What we pay for is the infrastructure to get water to our houses or to clean the water. So water is actually free, but our access to water is what we pay for. So the pipes, the water treatment facilities, all of that kind of stuff is what we pay for. Think about that. If you own a home or even an apartment, and maintenance of that apartment or maintenance of your home costs a lot every year. You might need a new roof, or you might need new windows, or you might need new carpet, or you might need a new oven, or you might need a new microwave. All of those things, if you think about it on a yearly basis, add up to a significant amount of money. I know I live in an old home. And I will tell you, every other week it's something new. And it costs a significant amount of money to keep up with our household. But my water bill each month is $40. So if I calculate that out, when you think about that over a 12-month period, it's really not that much money. It's about $500 a year for water for me, for my entire household. I mean, that's crazy compared to how much I pay for my cell phone bill or how much I pay for maintenance for my home. So keep that in mind when we're talking about water, is that maybe people will conserve water or think about water when we pay for water, like how much we pay for our cell phone each month, which is significant. So what Fishman really wants to talk about in this chapter is the fact that we need to create an economics of water. We need to create some way that we hold people accountable for water. And he talks about this on the bottom of page 275. So if you go to page 275 and you go to the bottom, he says, I'm on the, let's say, the 1, 2, 3, fourth paragraph down. He says, actually, there's nothing unethical about managing water demand with price, and there's nothing immoral about allowing the market to help allocate water. Just so long as we solve what might be called the first-class problem, so long as everyone has access to water for their basic needs at the lowest possible cost. And so I understand, for example, we need to start having an economics of water where, you pay for a certain amount of water at this one price, and that's for your everyday needs. But then above that, if I'm going to turn the hose on to water my plants, that's more money because I actually can put a rain barrel in and collect rainwater and water my plants with that. Or, I want to fill a little swimming pool outside of my house. Well, that's really some people may say that's a basic need. If you live in the city of Philadelphia and you don't have air conditioning, that might be a basic need. But for other folks, it might not be. And so pricing this water is where I think a lot of the problems might come in. But the higher price we pay for things, it seems as if the more we conserve or the more we think about what we're doing with that resource. And so he brings us in and introduces us to this guy named Mike Young. And on page 275 is where he starts really talking about this water system. And on page 278, he introduces us to Mike Young. And he's a water economist, and it's a really new trend. It's something new. Hopefully it'll take off because we really do need to start conserving fresh water. And so Mike Young is, introduces us to this water economy that we should probably have. And he's a really cool guy. I mean, it's really refreshing to think about someone who's so innovative. And he says that we need to set up a water market. And on page 280, he begins talking to us about this water market and how it will be set up. And he talks about I'm on the bottom of page 280, the last paragraph, and he says, a market in water only works, though, if a community, a region, or a watershed has done two things first. So in order for us to set up a water market, we're going to need to do these two things. First of all, we're going to need to set up the water allocation system in advance of a crisis. So what he means is we can't be in a drought and then say, we're going to put this water market into actuality. This takes planning. Remember, in the United States, we're really, really good at responding to issues. We're not very good at preventing issues. So before the problem happens, solving it. We are really good at solving it after the problem has occurred, and then we go, oh my goodness, we should have did all of these things. And so what he's saying is that we need to really start thinking about this now before we have a major water crisis in the United States, which we actually have now in a lot of states. Before that actually happens, we should be implementing these things ahead of time. And the second thing we need to do is set up the water system in a way that acknowledges that water is a different kind of resource. It's not a new iPhone or a block of valuable city land, precisely because everyone needs water to survive, is what Mike Young is saying, is that, you can go without certain things like your iPhone, or you could go without valuable city land, but you can't go without water. And everyone has the rights to clean, safe water. And this is why water could be is a major social justice issue as well. And we'll talk about that in further articles as we move through this semester. So what Mike Young talks about is setting up this water system. And when he talks about this water system, he says it should be shaped like a drinking glass almost, which is, very ironic. And he gives us how this should be done. So the first level of the drinking glass, the bottom part of the drinking glass, is for the environment. This is maintenance water. No one else can touch it. It's for the environment, meaning we need to have water that like in our rivers, etc., that feeds the ocean, that feeds streams and tributaries, because that needs to be used for the environment. So that is the first level that Mike Young says. So there will be a certain cap that we as humans can't access that portion of water because that is what's for the environment. That's not watering your lawn. That's just for regular maintenance of the environment. The second level is what we call critical human needs, and he defines critical human needs on page 282. And it's about, I would say, 1 to 3rd paragraph down, and it starts with the sentence, indeed. Indeed, what qualifies as critical human needs beyond sanitation and drinking water will require debate and setting. Priorities: hospitals are critical human need. Water parks are not critical human need. But what about the auto plant or the steel mill or the plant nursery? So there's lots of questions, and this is my worry, is that defining what critical human needs is going to become really, really difficult for this process. It's going to create a lot of political debate, and I'm worried that we are not, as a human beings, going to be able to move past defining what critical human needs are to implement this. I think we're going to get stuck on critical human needs, because some people may say critical human needs is to have a little swimming pool outside your house because, if the region is low income and has no access to air conditioning units, that actually might be a critical human need because in certain conditions, a lot of people die due to heat related illnesses. So how do we define that? So I think that's going to be a big hitch in this economic plan. Now, the rest of the water is considered sharing water. This sharing water is divided into 3 sections: high security water, low security water, and general security water. Now, this is where social justice needs to be defined, is that in the critical human level, we're giving people drinking water and we're giving people sanitation, etc. So there should be no social justice issue. There really shouldn't be. When we move into the next level, though, and we talk about low security, general security, and high security, this is where if you have the money, you're going to be able to secure more water for yourself. Because if you have more money, you're going to be able to pay for high security water. And that means that you get whatever's left of the sharing water, you get it first because you're paying a higher price for it. And then, depending, hey, I don't have that much money this month, so I'll pay for 50,000 gallons of low security water. So here you are. If you're a small business and you need to access that high security water, but you don't have the funds, you can't have access to it. So you get what's left. And this is where big corporations who billion-dollar corporations, monopolies are going to be able to maybe secure that high security water at the price because they have access to the funds. And so this is where Mike's economic plan has some holes that need to be addressed, but at least he's moving forward towards a solution to our water crisis problem. And so I think he does a great job in this chapter, Fishman, introducing us to Mike Young, talking about all of these issues. I enjoy this chapter. I think it's refreshing. He talks about a lot of wonderful new innovative ideas for the water market. And so that's about it for this chapter. Make sure you read the entire chapter, of course, and do not forget to take your quiz.